When we measure inflation, we usually use this thing called consumer price index. So in most countries, this consumer price index can comprise of thousands of different items. So the idea here is that you have maybe this list of 1,000 items, right, across different categories like food, accommodation, transport, healthcare, education. So you track all of these items and you compare the price changes across a period of time. You aggregate these price changes, and that's what we use the consumer price index to have a measurement of how much prices have actually changed. So this is what we call the consumer price index, which is what most countries use to measure inflation. Now, beyond that, many countries like Singapore, for example, we use a second indicator to measure inflation. We call this second indicator the core inflation. The core inflation is very much like the CPI, except that you choose to exclude certain items. Like in Singapore, core inflation excludes two things. It excludes accommodation costs, it excludes private transport costs like cars. So we exclude accommodation costs and cars because these are the two things that the price changes are very volatile. They affect us in a very large way, and yet we're not buying cars and houses on a daily basis. So while they affect us in a very large way, we don't quite make purchases on a daily basis. So core inflation in Singapore excludes housing, it excludes cars. So it measures everything like we do in the CPI, but it excludes these two things.